In this tutorial we're gonna have a look at some of the stereoscopic functionality in Baselight. More specifically, how to deal with vertical misalignments that can occur when shooting with a stereoscopic rig. Here we have our first stereo sequence. Baselight offers a variety of different modes for displaying stereo. For looking at vertical misalignments, my personal preference is using interleaved. As you can see from the footage, the vertical scan lines between the two images are not lining up, especially when looking at the actor's head and the picture frame in the back. To correct the misalignment, we first select the stereo geometry fix operator from the Layers Quick Selection menu, and then simply press the Analyze Frame button. Baselight will then analyze the two frames for correspondences in the images, and then will suggest a transformation accordingly. When looking at the results, you can clearly see the vertical misalignment between the two eyes has improved significantly. Now let us move to the next sequence. Again, one can clearly see a gap between the vertical scan lines in the shot, so we simply do the same process as we did before. However, this time we have a look at the alignment features that were computed from Baselight. We can toggle between the two eyes to check if the features match each other. For closer inspection, you can use the page down and page up keys to zoom into each feature. Another functionality you might have noticed in the alignment feature display we are going to explain in the next sequence. As you can see, some crosses are drawn in gray while others are displayed in color. Gray crosses are features that were not considered in the transformation calculation, simply as they could not match the internal constraints. This might be an indication that they are wrongly matched. Speaking about transforms, you might have noticed that the geometry fix operator allows you to choose between different transformations when fixing the alignment. I'm going to explain the different transformations now. Translate tries to apply just the vertical translation to the image. Translate, rotate and scale tries to apply rotation, vertical translation and scaling to the image. Perspective tries to apply full perspective transformation to the image. Translate, rotate and scale plus perspective is a two-phase transformation. In the first phase, a rotation, vertical translation and scale transform is applied to the feature points. Then afterwards, in a second step, a full perspective transformation is calculated by using these former transformed points. The combination of both of these transforms is then used as the final transform. And finally, translate, rotate plus perspective is another two-phase transformation. Except compared to the previous one, no scaling is used. While we were going through the different transform options, different features became grayed out. Usually, for a good transform, you want to have a nice spatial distribution of feature points. In our case, the Translate, Rotate and Scale option seems to provide this best distribution. And when we look at the frame now in stereo view, one can see that indeed it provides the best overall image, especially when focusing on the right part, in particular the watch and the hand of the actor. The last sequence in our stereo scene is a bit more difficult than the previous ones. As before, we first apply the same proceeding. As usual, the vertical alignment has improved, but there are clearly still some problem areas. Even by trying out all the different transform options, unfortunately there seems to be none that can really get rid of all the problem areas. If none of the transform options leads to satisfying results, there are several procedures one can apply to potentially still get a better result. I will demonstrate a few of these procedures next. The first and simplest solution is to choose a different frame on the timeline, then apply the geometry fix operator again, hoping this time it will extract better features. Okay, so we moved the timeline slightly further ahead and found a frame that looks reasonable to try out. After applying another fix, we move back to the initial frame to compare the results. Comparing between these two fixes, it looks like we managed to slightly improve some of the problem areas. The second method is to have a look at the alignment features and check if there's some kind of spatial clustering or maybe many mismatched features in the image. In our case, we can observe a strong grouping of features in the central part of the image. This grouping might weight the transform too much in favor of that part of the image, so we can try to reduce this weighting by simply removing alignment features from that area. You can delete features by clicking on the cross that represents the feature you want to remove, while holding down the Shift key at the same time. Again, by using this method, we also managed to improve some of the problem areas compared to the initial result. If you are still not satisfied with any of the results achieved with the previous method so far, there is another method one can try out. In this last method, we are going to select the transform manually by choosing the alignment features ourselves. To do this, you first have to select the semi-automatic mode from the options. As you can see, the user interface has now changed. In the semi-automatic mode, you can pick up to 4 points anywhere in the image, and for each of the chosen points, it will try to find the corresponding point in the other eye's image. With the help of these correspondences, it will then calculate the transformation. Similar to the full automatic mode, you want to have a good spatial distribution of features, therefore you should choose your points carefully. Fortunately, from the previous two methods, we already have a good indication which areas of the image we should choose from. And indeed, with these chosen points, we get one of the best corrections so far. This concludes this video tutorial. Thank you for watching and stay classy.